When you get in the vehicle, you're going to notice that it has an entry and exit mode for moving the steering wheel out of your way and pulling the back of the seat. The heated and cooled seats have an automatic function, so they can go ahead and get the climate control. Depending on how you have the climate control set, it will heat or cool the seat as well. So there's a lot of comfort features as far as getting in and out of the vehicle and it being prepared for you when you get in the vehicle. The air conditioner, on the really hot days, it seems like it takes a minute or two to get going, but once it gets going, it's a really excellent air conditioning system. It's evenly cools the air, and it's not too clammy and hot in certain areas and cold in areas. It's a really good, comfortable, all-around climate control system. But anyways, and the camera system is fantastic. You can check out my more detailed overview of the vehicle, going into more details about the camera system. But when you're backing up or even going forward into a parking space, the camera system is really good at confirming that there's nothing around you. Of course, you want to look out the windows and make sure that there's nothing really in the way, but this is a good way of just confirming to make sure there's not anything there that you didn't see. And a rear cross traffic alert also alerts you as well, parking sensors and all that. Has plenty of power. That's one of the things that I noticed driving it with the 3.5 liter V6, and the shift points on the transmission are fantastic. So as far as the feel of the acceleration, there's no quirkiness to the transmission, and there's no lacking in power significantly, unless you're used to like a Hellcat. Driving a Hellcat or something is going to feel fine driving it with a V6. Another thing that's comfortable, and you wouldn't think that it's comfortable, and that is this bamboo wood steering wheel. The way it's contoured and the surface treating or whatever, there's something about it that it's a hard wood surface, but when you're holding it, it doesn't really, dig into your hands or anything. It's really amazing. This part on the outside is very soft, super soft. And of course, it's a heated steering wheel, but it's in the middle of the summertime, so I'm not really interested in that right now, but it does have it. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, all that good stuff. It does have the adaptive cruise control, and you can set that, and the information will show up there on the HUD heads-up display. And I'm normally not a fan of HUDs, but this particular one is not a problem. Even though it has too much crap on there, there's a lot of information. I would certainly take away some of that stuff normally, but since I'm demonstrating the vehicle, I just want to show you what it has. It has digital speedometer, has your adaptive cruise control and your lane tracing assist information there, RPMs, digital compass. Even has road sign information as well. Also, when you change the volume on the radio, it'll show up. There's nothing playing now, but it'll actually show you the volume level. Usually not driving that aggressive, but I just want to give you an idea of how it sounds, the engine and all that. And speaking of sound, it is nice and quiet. So we're going 62 miles per hour. Granted, this is a smooth road, but even in noisy environments, it is really quiet. I mean, I had the radio on though, but I was driving along and there was a lawnmower right next to me, and just mowing the lawn on the side of the road, and I didn't even hear it. It was amazing. But like I said, I did have the radio on, and the radio's fantastic. Oh man, the radio in this vehicle, I just like love it. There's something about a quality factory radio system that sounds really good. And nice and loud and clear without being distorted sounding or weak sounding. is certainly a positive. It just makes you feel good when you're driving and you have a nice quality sound system. It makes the drive so much better. Now this has this lane tracing thing. I don't know if you're seeing this. It'll actually keep the steering wheel. The aim of the system is supposed to be to keep you in the center of the lane. And I would say it's a good 50-60% of the time it's fine. But there is times in which it feels, not good. It's fighting against you as you're trying to drive. And that's common with this type of system. The adaptive cruise control, right now we're slowing down because the vehicle, this vehicle in front of us is not going that fast, but it actually has a full range adaptive cruise control, and it keeps you at a fairly safe distance. So I keep it at the furthest distance possible, and as you're driving, we're slower now, but the faster you go, the more the distance will be, and it does keep you at a comfortable distance. So I really enjoy that. And if it gets too close to the lane, it'll vibrate the steering wheel. Now you can choose whether you want the vibrating the steering wheel or a beep, but since it does it so much, for one thing, it does it on its own. So if you just, it fights you and wants you to go to the left or right with the lane keeping, the lane tracing assist, and then you're like, okay, fine, and then you let go of the steering wheel, and then it goes too far of the lane, and then it starts beeping on itself. So it's the system's kind of funny, but I like driving my own vehicle. I don't like these, which now I understand this is not a self-driving feature. This is a like a safety feature, so I understand. I'm just not a fan of the self-driving stuff. And it is, with the adaptive cruise control is a very good safety feature, because it can apply the brakes and keep you at a safe distance between you and vehicle in front of you and all that stuff. So overall I think it's good. The adaptive cruise control for sure is good. And I don't think I got close to the lane right there, the line in the road, too close to it, but yet it was vibrating the steering wheel. It's kind of finicky. Also, the adaptive cruise control, if there's a curve and it doesn't sense the vehicle in front of you, it'll speed up or whatever, and then all of a sudden when it sees the vehicle again, it'll slow back down. So it's kind of, it's a system. It's not a human being. Speaking of that, the automatic high beams are not very good. At first they seemed fine, but last night I was driving and I didn't have a camera on it or anything, but there was flashing cars, and it was flashing cars oncoming cars and cars going away from me, in front of me. It was about to get me in trouble, because the problem is this has really bright headlights, extremely bright LED high beams, and when you start flashing people in the face at nighttime with these high beams, that is, for one thing, could be dangerous, because it screws up people's night vision, their eyes being adjusted to the night. But it's just really not a good thing to be flashing people, or sometimes it'll go dim even when there's no cars around. So it has some issues with the automatic high beams. I just had to turn them off because they were so problematic. You notice the camera turned on now since I slowed down. gives us a view of what's around us. In that particular case, I didn't need the camera, but it's handy in certain cases. So when I stop here, you'll actually be able to see the lines on the road. And you can see how far I am away from the line, or if I'm over the line, that kind of thing, or cars around me, that kind of thing. So the camera system is best in the parking lot, like if you're going into a parking space or something like that. That's great. It's really, really handy. But sometimes when you're just sitting at a light like this, it's kind of neat to have the ability to see, you know, what's immediately around you and in front of you. Another thing I'll say is that this vehicle, since it has the power, and it has a really easy to steer steering wheel and everything, and the handling is fantastic. What comes to mind is the word zippy. You know, have you ever heard that term, zippy? You know, regarding like a small, quick vehicle or whatever. Well, even though this is an SUV, it is zippy. It has that zippy feeling. You can zip through and you know, and drive, and it's fun to drive, and it's fast and easy to handle, and it's just overall, I think it's an excellent vehicle.